Welcome to episode 93. We're going to be talking about game developers giving us updates, people finding updates that got patched into other stuff, and then we're going to have a little mini section where we're going to talk about game developers undoing things that were in their games based on community feedback.
Yes.
Keep watching.
This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
And we're here giving you the gaming news like we do every single week. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. If you're listening to the podcast, thank you for doing that, and go ahead and subscribe to that as well. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. We're TWIOCH everywhere, except for Twitch. So Twitch, we're TWIOCH Gaming, but YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. So wherever you're watching this or listening to this, go find the other things so you can tap into us and get woke.
So, to start off episode 93, we finally get to have backwards compatible games again.
Yes.
We had like probably about a month without any.
Yeah.
Apparently our Twitter unfollowed Major Nelson. Don't know why that happened. So we might have missed some in there, but they're back.
They're back.
And they're here now.
With a mild vengeance. Starting out with Blazing Angels, Squadrons of World War II, which we actually reviewed for the Games with Gold and PlayStation Plus review show that we do, the Gold Plus Roundup. And it is as mediocre as you can imagine. As great as World War II is with the setting, this game, I mean, I personally don't like. If you're a big fan of like avionics, whatever the word is for that. Aviating, sure, if that's a verb.
Aviation.
Then aviation, that's a better one.
Yeah.
So if you're a big fan of aviation, then yeah, go check that out because the historical part of it is great and everything. I just didn't like it. I'd rather fly in Grand Theft Auto. We did get a Cyber Troopers virtual on Oratorio Tangram.
Yes, that is actually a spin-off of a Mavis Beacon typing game.
Okay.
But it's within the Mavis Beacon, conventional cinematic universe.
Yeah.
There comes a virus, and it starts to sneak in words that aren't really words.
Oh, like Oratorio.
Oratorio Tangram.
Yeah.
And so what you have to do is you have to dive into the code as a cyber trooper. And you have to cleanse the system of these viruses.
Yeah.
So at first you're just fighting tangrams and epithams and flickings.
Yeah.
And after you take those out, then you get to the boss and the one that's generating them. And so it's like a bullet hell type thing.
Yeah.
But you have to figure out how to defeat them.
Okay.
And so like based on either it'll be different things. Like it'll be the number of letters in the word, the number of syllables in the word.
So for the difficulty.
Whether it starts with a consonant or vowel, and you have to defeat them with different weapons based on those things, and that changes level to level.
Interesting. Now this was the crossover because Carmen Sandiego is now part of the Mavis Beacon universe, right? So was she involved in this? Because I know that there were some Easter eggs in the previous Mavis Beacon games.
There were some Easter eggs, and Carmen Sandiego does not show up, but some of her minions do.
Okay. So we know the link is still there. She's still up there. Okay.
And so you get Nazmo King. And some of the other ones. I don't remember all the bosses specifically. Yeah. It's been a long time since I made this game up a minute and a half ago. For those of you who haven't followed our show before, with the backwards compatible games, we're excited about them.
We are.
But some of them we don't know and don't think that it's really that important. And so we just use this as an opportunity to make up games on the spot, like I just did with Cyber Troopers Virtual on Oratorio Tangram.
Yeah.
Because that game does not exist. But if you want to play it, learn programming and make it, I guess?
Learn programming and make that game, because I'm sure that game is good. Teaching kids context clues.
I would play it.
Teaching kids context clues to figure out, oh, is this the missing word?
Yeah. And speaking of context clues, Radiant Silvergun.
Yeah, so
how's that?
Radiant Silvergun, so this was, it's actually, it was a remaster for the 360. It was originally on the original Xbox.
Okay.
So we're getting a third generation, we're getting a backwards compatible of a remaster game. So it's a little janky, but Radiant Radiant Silvergun is it's a quasi superhero game where you play a Native American who is endowed with these technologies that he's not familiar with. So it's kind of this cyberpunk Native American game where you go around as and I'm by Native American, I do mean like this is like the 1300s, 1200s, sorry, I guess it'd be 1500s because they have trade with the Vikings at this point.
Okay.
But Columbus hasn't been there.
All right.
So you have all these weird technologies and you're fighting the different people who are out there.
1492.
He was not in America. He never landed in America.
Okay.
Columbus landed in the West Indies and was in a couple of the Virgin Islands, but he never set foot on America.
Okay, but the important thing for our show is that he doesn't show up in Radiant Silvergun.
He doesn't show up in there, but you do unlock different superpowers. But as you're doing that, you're being guided by your spiritual ancestors and the gods, and you also fight traditional Native American beasts and mythology things in there, like the Wendigo. You fight the Wendigo and a few
cool.
others. So it's pretty cool.
I like the Wendigo.
Yeah. That game does not exist either.
Right. But its sequel, Wolf of the Battlefield, which they took the remaster to see if this was something that would work. And then Wolf of the Battlefield, you actually play as the companion of the character from the first one, and you are his wolf on the battlefield.
That makes sense because you send him off to do stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so that makes sense.
And it's called Commando 3 because you're actually the wolf is inhabited by a spirit from the future.
Oh.
And so you're trying to teach him new techniques because, like, in a similar way to in the American Revolution, a lot of the American successes were based on the fact that they were fighting in a completely different way than the we're going to stand here in red and get shot at
in a line. And
the
waits.
soldiers. And so the idea of bringing future into this past thing and then infusing it into a wolf, it does fall under the white savior trope, which is kind of problematic, but at the 360 they didn't know any better.
Just like 6 years ago, they didn't know any better.
Exactly.
I mean, Neo even gets close to that. I mean, the whole white savior thing. But
but the
whole like Last Samurai kind of thing. If you're not familiar with that trope.
Yeah. I think one of the things that helps keep it from falling into that trope, for me at least, is that he's helping, but he's also subordinate to everybody that's in there.
That does help.
Where he's not just taking charge and being like, all of your traditions and everything can screw off. I'm going to fix everything.
I'm the answer.
He's trying to inject himself into this situation, and like he follows his little white cat thing, and he is one of an elite group that get the spiritual animals. And so he is part of, but not superior to the natives. And I think that's what keeps it from being the white savior.
No, I think you're right. That does help, as opposed to the white person coming in and being able to do things better than the people who are in the land and everything.
Right.
So,
Murasame also talks a lot about, tell me about your culture. Are these swords weird to you? And it's like, okay, how does he use the hook and ball? Like, that's a really complicated weapon that you need years of training to even be vaguely competent. And he just picks it up. He's like, I got this.
Those make nunchucks look like Tinker Toys. I mean, you screw that up, it's like a butterfly knife with a weighted ball on it as well. And it's
a terrifying weapon.
I don't understand. I mean, if the game took place over way longer a time, I may get it. But he wasn't even supposed to be like a weapons master when he got there. So that's a little odd.
And then the last backwards compatible game that we have is Call of Duty Ghosts, which is one that we do know because it's Call of Duty. And this was one that was not particularly well received, but the multiplayer, I mean, this is something that just kind of keeps it going and lets that go.
It's got some ups to it. I would say that it's better than the the Call of Duty Infinite whatever the heck that one. That I Want to Be Sci-Fi, and it was basically a Halo game. I mean, it was like right on the cusp of it was right on the cusp of being like a Halo game in my opinion. So I think Ghost was better. Still, as we've said, almost every single week now, we want a single-player standalone Call of Duty because we will buy that. Yeah. But anyways, we're on to the Games with Gold and the PlayStation Plus games.
Yeah.
Those were both announced this week.
And I'm really excited when they get announced in the same week.
Yeah, we can actually do this all together.
All of them.
Yeah. So for Games with Gold, we got a handful of games, obviously.
Right. We have Grow Up, which is this is Pirates of the Caribbean Lego game,
which is one of my.
I'm curious.
I liked it. I don't think it was one of the better Lego games, but the Lego games are always fun. So I say give it a shot because if you haven't, it's already good. Kane and Lynch Dog Days 2 is not for kids though. So one for kids game versus a not for kids game. I would say that this, where Trevor in Grand Theft Auto is a joke, this is like a real Trevor in a real world. Grow Home we played before. It was a backwards compatible for PlayStation 4.
No, this is. Wait, is it Grow Home or Grow Up?
I thought it was Grow Up. Grow Up? Yeah,
Grow Up is the sequel to Grow Home.
Oh, that's right. We haven't played that one yet.
Right.
Runbow, we haven't played either.
Runbow looks awesome.
That looks fun.
I want to play that.
That looks like a really fun platformer with some
and
cool
lots
multiplayer stuff too. So
yeah,
I'm all about that. So pretty good list of games on the Games with Gold side on the Xbox. Now
you're really excited about the PlayStation though.
I'm excited for a handful of these. There's some that I'm not as much excited for, but That's You, which isn't technically part of this list, but we wanted to put it on there. This is their answer to Jackbox.
It's specifically free. 4 Plus comes out the same day. Same thing.
Close enough. Yeah. If you haven't played Jackbox, this is very similar to that. It's a game where you get to use your phone as the controller. Game of Thrones Telltale series. I'm a fan of Telltale, the way that they tell stories, at least. I didn't get too far into this.
I'm a fan of Game of Thrones, and I like the idea of the Foresters, who are a traditional house, and getting to play as them.
Getting to actually play as them. We did play Until Dawn. Until Dawn is a great narrative, almost a choose-your-own-adventure horror game, where your choices actually matter and actually will save or kill the different people that you're with. Darkstalkers Resurrection, another 2D fighter. I never got into the Darkstalkers series. I also never got into that other one that's supposed to be really good as well. Not Persona.
BlazBlue.
Yeah, BlazBlue, which I never got into.
BlazBlue is fun.
They're supposed to be good. Tokyo Jungle.
Tokyo Jungle looks like a lot of fun. Yeah. This was one of the weird indie ones that came out toward the end of the PS3 era. And basically what you do is you start off as like a rabbit or something, like something really small, and like you try to survive as long as you can, and you get to earn more creatures.
Yeah.
Don't Die, Mr. Robot.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I have no idea what's happening. But
I know there's special guests.
Yeah,
and
it's Vita, so I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And then Elemental looks like a cross between that typewriter game that we played, and then that other color one where you had to make the walls different colors.
Yes, so then you could jump on them and everything.
Yeah, and gave them different properties.
Could be interesting. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like really relaxing, but deceptively so, because I'm sure the puzzles are the platforming is actually difficult in certain areas.
I don't mind the platforming being difficult. I just don't want the puzzles to test this up here. Too busy for that.
Way too busy for that.
So we will let you know in a couple of weeks what these are like. I'll be able to pick these up on Tuesday, and so yeah, we will get back to you on those. We're trying to get those out a little bit quicker. Last month, because of E3, it ended up coming out toward the end of the month. But what we're trying to do is jump on top of that so that we're giving you as much time as possible to grab the games and play them. And if they have a multiplayer element, as some of these do, like Runbow, we want you to be able to play those while there's a community there to play with.
Exactly. So I'm going to try to get it ready for next Sunday, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Main topic. So we'll skip that for now.
Yeah, sure.
Destiny 2 has released some information about the rewards that are going to be available for Destiny 1 players. I think that they're doing the right thing here. They're saying these are going to be aesthetic or titles or things like that. But it does show people as you're moving forward into Destiny 2. It'll be like, hey, that guy took out all of the Taken King DLC.
Yeah.
This person, defeated all the year one challenges, things like that. And I appreciate that because there is a certain element of there's an element of pride to it.
Oh, yeah.
And so regardless of whether it's actually doing anything for you in game, I think that it is important for them to be able to let you show, I've been here, and I think that will also help guide people towards, this person probably knows what's going on, because if you were year one and you jumped into Destiny 2 and you're charging forward with all this stuff, you're probably more of like it would almost be like a GM tag.
Yeah.
And so
I think it's a great idea. I think that when whatever happens to World of Warcraft happens, that I hope they do something similar to this, but on a larger scale. But to thank the people who have been playing your game, and to get them not only, to buy the second one, but to thank them for playing the first one.
Yeah.
That to me, that shows appreciation. That shows respect for the players who've been playing Destiny 1
and the time that they put in.
Exactly, because that was supposed to be a 10-year plan for Destiny 1. So
did you hear that they're saying that what's the new Destiny that they announced in Microsoft?
Oh, I don't remember.
Asphalt or Assault or whatever that one is.
I can't even remember.
Anyway, they said they're going to have a 10-year plan.
Oh.
Which is entertaining to me.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're coming up on the rarely seen section, the undo section.
What? People apologizing for doing the wrong thing.
Apologizing and walking back and undoing a bunch of stuff. We've got like 4 stories here of companies being like, never mind, we're not going to do that. And we're going to start with something that we talked about last week, which was Rockstar.
Yeah.
Rockstar removed the Open GTA 4 mod, and this week they actually put out a statement and they said, look, the single player content, we have said we don't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
We don't want to interfere with that. And so we're not going to interfere with that now.
Yeah.
It was something where they were saying one thing and doing something else. And
well, that's why the cheats work in single player mode and they don't work in multiplayer mode.
Right.
You don't want someone to be able to cheat in multiplayer. One of the things that plagues online games like this is people selling money or selling gold for real money.
Yeah.
So the answer that GTA has done with that is you can buy it from them, but some people have gotten it through hacked means or exploits or something. Yeah. And if you buy those online, they have been taking those away, which I'm completely fine.
Yeah, that's fine, because you don't want. Okay, I've had GTA 5 for like ever, and I went in and I did a race, I think.
Yeah,
one time
online. Sure.
Online.
Sure.
So like if I came in now, you don't want to disadvantage people who aren't cheating, or to disadvantage new players to a point where they walk in and everybody else has $1 billion and they're running around with everything, and you're like, I have a car.
Unfortunately, that's how it is still. Like, because you start Grand Theft Auto, like I jumped online, and you jump on, and I have a gun, and I got a car, and I have like $2,000, and then this guy comes by me with like a tank. And to me, it's like breaking my immersion. So you can play in the GTA Online in like a private server kind of area, so that way you can build yourself up. But the cool other thing that they're doing, not only the heist, but you can like be your own business person. I put that in quotation marks.
I saw that. Yeah,
so
the CEO stuff.
So you can sell drugs, or you can have an area, like a place that grows drugs.
Yeah.
And depending on what you're growing and everything, like there's more security that you need. People will try to raid it. Other gangs will try to raid it.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I think I'm going to start playing it in that private server, single player-esque mode, just to get like an idea of what's changed, because I haven't played it in like year and a half?
It's been dramatically upgraded. Yeah. And we have another story later on in the show about that.
Yes.
Right now we're in the undo section.
Yeah.
So the next one is so there's a quest rogue deck.
Yes.
And this is Hearthstone, so I'll turn it over to Patrick.
Cool. So quest cards, the way this works is if you play the quest card at the beginning of the match, and if you get a certain variable. If you do a certain thing, you get a big reward.
Right.
Now the quest for rogues was play 4 minions with the same name. You get a crystal core, which makes all your minions for the rest of the game, no matter what, 5/5s.
Jeez.
So what happens is that the reason this is so exploitable is there are 3 or 4. I think there are 4 cards in the rogue deck that lets you pull back a creature into your hand, because you can only have 2 of a creature.
All right.
So you play it. You play a spell that pulls it back to your hand, and then you play it again. That's 2. So that's turn 1.
Right. Yeah.
So,
that sounds ridiculously exploitable.
So if you do it right, whenever I play against these guys, because I don't have the card, it's like a extremely rare card. So if you play against them like turn 4 or 5, all of them are 5/5s.
Right.
Instead of being like
And
a
then-
1/2 whatever, and then
they trample you.
And
Not
there
trample, because that's magic.
yeah, but there are like 1/1 little tiny 1/1
Right,
charging
and
cards.
that's who
now
they're
it's
bringing
a 5/5.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did they do to fix it?
They fixed it, and I slightly disagree with this, but they fixed it by basically adding 1 to that.
Okay.
So when it goes off, it's going to go off probably turn 6 or 7 instead of turn 4 or 5. It's not great, but it's better. Essentially, the first one that you play does not count.
Okay.
It's not great. It's better. It still respects the people who like that style. It still has something crazy happen. It doesn't always happen, though. I've had someone pull that card out, and I beat them on turn like 11 or 12.
Right.
And
So there is an element of luck to it, but
Yeah.
this makes it more difficult, but still potentially
Yeah.
feasible. So without removing it entirely
Yes.
from the game, they are making it so that it's not a play to win.
Sure, exactly, and that's what I do like about it. I wish it was like 2 more instead, because I like ridiculous things to happen. I love hyperbole. That's why I love playing EDH and Magic Commander, because you get 1 of each card, and you have 100 cards in your deck, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You could have something really crazy happen, but if I'm playing against someone and something crazy happens, I got to respect the chaos that just happened. So I'm okay with this change. I wish it was a little bit nerfed a little harder, but this is something that for the past month or so has just been wrecking Hearthstone. So I'm glad that they did it. Brings us closer to level.
Okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of leveling, those of you who've actually played Tumbleseed get that one. But Tumbleseed has adjusted its difficulty and made it. Okay, so when I first read this, I thought it was saying that they had just made the game easier.
Yeah.
And that does not seem to be the case. It seems to be more that they have added other modes and created it so that it gives you more advantages, and you can have a little bit more customization as far as your play style goes.
Gotcha.
They let you use more buffs at the beginning, and they introduced several modes that aren't necessarily the main game. And so what they were saying was that 0.2% of their players had beaten the game.
Wow.
And like Binding of Isaac, the platinum is like 0.45.
Okay, but that's
cool. But that's the
how many
platinum.
people have
Exactly.
beaten?
The platinum.
15% or
And okay, brief aside. What do you consider to have beaten Binding of Isaac?
killed Mother at least once.
No.
That's what I'd consider.
No, that means you beat the tutorial.
I was
Alright,
really
so-
proud of that. Okay.
No. And it is a great accomplishment, and
Yeah.
it feels really good.
I like the challenges.
And it encourages you to keep going,
Yeah.
because it sets it where at the very because at the very beginning of the game, if they sent you off after the chest and you just kept going and kept getting harder,
Yeah.
and you know, if you somehow God only knows how, but if you somehow made it to the lamb on like your second or third playthrough, that is a stupid boss.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Yeah.
But I've killed him before. and like so the idea of setting it up where Mom, good job, you beat it, you made it to this really hard thing, and then it's like, okay, you want a little bit more.
Yeah,
and
see,
then,
I haven't gotten to that.
once you beat Mom's heart 12 times, the rest of the game opens up.
I
is
had
it
no
5
idea.
times?
I had no idea.
Okay, so the game ends at Mom.
Yep.
Then the game ends at Mom's heart. Then the game ends later. With 2 whole more stages, but it allows you to progress, and as you gain confidence, like I said, once you beat Mom's Heart 5 times, that means that you have at least played the game long enough to have a feel for it, and then you're like, there's more?
Yeah.
And then that's kind of exciting. It's a new unlocked thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Tumbleseed, they said that only like a quarter of the players, only 40% made it to the second world. Only, 12% made it past the halfway point.
Jeez.
Yeah, and
I haven't played this game. Now I want to play it.
I want to play it so bad. And so this has definitely been added to my must get once I have a Switch.
Yeah.
Because I want to be in that elite club.
I may have to get it. I may have to get it on Switch.
So it looks really fun, but like I said, they've introduced more methods, more variety to it, and plus I want to support it because they talked about how much work went into it, and it is a critical darling, not necessarily a commercial success.
Exactly.
And part of that is because it's only released on the Switch. Switch is still a limited audience.
Exactly.
But they want more people to play it, and they're continuing to work on it, even though this will not necessarily help them profit-wise.
Yeah.
And so, like we always say, support your devs. I like these guys. I'm definitely doing
Another one I want to support because I didn't even know about this thing is the is the 5-star fastest trophy, which is
Okay, the name of the game on
Yeah.
PSN was 5 stars, 1,000
That's right.
top rated.
That's right. Which
And
is
it
so
was-
clickbaity. I love it. I absolutely love it. Right there, you just got a ridiculous amount of trophies.
No, and they advertised it as, hey, you can get a platinum in 20 minutes. World's fastest platinum trophy game.
Yep.
And
it's ridiculous, and I want to get it just. I don't even care about the trophies, but just because I respect someone going, hey, it's very meta, where they're like, hey, trophies are a thing everyone wants. I'm going to make a game that just gives you trophies.
well, thank God Sony fixed it. You can't have it. You can't get it. They removed it from the store.
And he's going to be... he made some statement about retooling it or something to that effect.
Okay, but like this. Okay, you see it as a highly meta. Oh, this is funny.
That's a laugh. That's great.
Yes, I see it as a remarkably cynical look.
Oh, sure.
At what players want, and for me this is an example, kind of like Life of Black Panther a little while ago. It's like, Sony, pay attention to what you're publishing. What's happening? No, stop.
Yeah. And Xbox, I haven't. Now it's probably rampant, and I just am not seeing it. Xbox to me looks like they're doing a better job of curating this, or at least maybe they're not putting it out in the front. But PlayStation, a lot of the PlayStation games are becoming quasi shovelware, quasi Steam levels.
We're definitely reaching that point, and we are. Well, I guess I.
Yeah.
And we, because you haven't condemned me for it, but we are tweeting out to PlayStation and being like, look, curate this stuff.
Yes.
In order for us to spend money, I want to be able to go onto the store and find something that's worth playing.
I agree with you. You said, and I'll give you credit for it, you said a couple months ago, having a small team that all they do is play the new indie games, and giving you, when you go onto PlayStation Store, where it's like, hey, here's the new hotness, right? So that way people who like indie games can jump in, and you don't have a... you'd have to, of course, make sure that no one's paying Sony or the team to do it.
Right.
But you have a group of people who are playing everything and going, okay, this is a small developer, who, like the whole Five Nights at Freddy's thing. Like, if no one had latched onto that, if the YouTube and all that hadn't latched onto it, then if you've seen some of his other games, they're complete crap. But
this one, he found something special.
Someone found it, and it propelled, and I think that's needed because there are some games that are coming out which are completely sleepers.
Well, and Sony does manage to find games like Axiom Verge. Axiom Verge by Tom Happ.
Oh, yeah.
One guy. And they managed to pluck that out. And if if I felt like that I could trust Sony or PlayStation or whatever to find those games and bring those to the top, and again, if you have like a team of 5 or 6 players, then somebody's going to be like, hey, Minecraft, this is actually kind of cool, and I want it to be where the vote has to be unanimous, where somebody's like, okay, I think this one should be pulled, and then everybody jumps in. Yeah,
I agree.
So if Sony, if you want to set up a Patreon, I'll chip in $5 a month to have somebody curate these.
Yeah, I would too. Real quick story about Five Nights at Freddy's that I didn't know. The guy who created Five Nights at Freddy, Scott Kaufman or whatever. So he was a video game programmer and trying to be an indie game developer, because he programmed and did video art before, but he tried to be an indie developer, and his games were flops. And the last game that he did before Five Nights at Freddy's was this quasi-kids teddy bear game, and one of the reviewers, and actually a couple of them, said it was like creepy and inhuman, and it was this uncanny valley when it came to these weird bears, and that it just didn't fit. And he went, oh, well, if you think that's creepy,
let me double down on that.
Let's do that then. If I can do this, I'm going to do this. So it was
awesome.
Straight up from a legit person's review saying, I don't like this. That he took that and went, that may be a thing. And now he is doing amazing, and like I don't think he's milking it. I think that the way that they've built up that world has been beautiful. And all because someone gave a legit review, a scathing review, but he took it.
And that's one of the interesting things to me about following indie devs, because the Cosmic Star Heroine guy, he's talking about building an Anne of Green Gables RPG.
You mentioned
JRPG.
that, yes.
I want it. I will pay money for that.
Yeah.
He's talking about taking the story of Anne of Green Gables. And I know I'm going super meta here, so if you're with me on this, tweet at me at TWIOCH and let me know. But yeah, he wants to make a Persona-style game where you build up the character, the S-links between her and Diane and like all these different characters. And he said that her weapon would be pens, and showed like a gif of Death Note. Whoosh, the super dramatic drawing.
You mentioned
I want it.
Oh, what was it? You mentioned another one that was the like Jane Eyre or whatever, that like someone else didn't you mention?
Yeah, there's a Jane Austen MMO.
Austen, the Jane Austen MMO. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes,
because that, like, as soon as you mentioned that, I was thinking that could be done really well. The whole relationship building, as well as like balancing all these
and the prestige and like the societal position. There's a lot that can be done with that, and that's why I'm really excited about the indie scene. Like stuff like Tumbleseed. Like we weren't gonna see like Sony make that.
No.
You have to find some weird person, and I think that eventually we'll get to the point where the metaphorical cream is rising, and we're able to find these more easily. I don't know how it's going to work yet. Everybody from early access to green light to Sony's summer indie whatever thing that they do, like they are looking, and they're trying to find ways to reach out and pluck the best of the best from that group.
And Jim Sterling's done a lot about this as well. So if you haven't checked him out, if you're not watching Jim Sterling and you're listening to us, then you're on the right track. But Jim's cool too. But he's done a lot about, and he's actually been talking to Steam directly about how to curate that. So back to the rest of the gaming, because we can continue to rant. I've got so many things I want to talk about.
That's the end of the our bad.
Yeah,
we'll fix it.
Now we get into some of the really cool things and some of the not so cool things of the side quest. Starting out with my favorite cartoon now. Rick and Morty is invading Rocket League, and I love Mr. Poopy Butthole on there, and I love the "You Show Me What You Got" guy.
Yeah.
I'm so happy the generic alien thing too. But is that Meeseeks? No, hold on, that's not Meeseeks.
Meeseeks has to be in there. There has to be a Meeseeks.
That looks like an alien. It doesn't look like Meeseeks unless they screwed up the eyes.
No, the first one is a Meeseeks.
Is it? But the eyes
hold
are
on,
black.
let it run
The
one
eyes
more
are
time,
black.
right?
Oh, he's got the little thing on his head.
No, that's his mouth.
Oh, hold on. Let me see it again. His eyes are closed? Okay, now I see it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's
by the
Meeseeks.
time it turns, you can barely see the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Meeseeks is my favorite. It's one of my favorite episodes because the balance between the Mr. Meeseeks plot and the Morty has his own adventure on the side is amazing. And the Meeseeks are my favorites. I love the Show Me What You Got guy too because it's got the It's Swifty.
Yeah. I like the Google Blocks episode.
Google Blocks is good. Yeah.
That's fun. Especially because of the way that Rick doesn't examine his own character is just wonderful. And then the other story of Summer in the car.
Yeah.
And unintended consequences and her trauma once she comes out.
And
so that's starting back up again. Was it July 3rd?
I was about to pull it up because it's starting up and July 30th.
Bam!
There you go. So July 30th, if you haven't watched Rick and Morty, I'm pretty sure they're still all on Hulu. If not, find a way to watch all these because they're
adultswim.com.
adultswim.com
We'll let you watch some of them, and then you can find the rest elsewhere.
I've got them all on my PlayStation View DVR. So I've been watching them. Like we just watched the Mr. Meeseeks episode because it's Whitney's favorite.
Yeah.
That was the other thing I was going to say very quickly. Whitney had not seen Cuphead, so I played her the trailer to Cuphead. I played her the gameplay.
Yeah.
And she lit up.
Yeah.
Because it's the whole hand-drawn aspect of it.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is beautiful. And I've not doubted Cuphead. I doubted Microsoft when I made my prediction before that Cuphead just wouldn't be there. It wasn't because I didn't like Cuphead.
Right.
I don't know if I went into that enough, but it was because I thought Xbox doesn't know what the heck they're doing. Anyways,
I mean, this doesn't prove that they do.
They still probably don't. On to things that do know what they do. Rockstar knows what they do.
Yes.
And so someone has stumbled upon the GTA.
Okay. Stumbled upon does not give them enough credit.
Okay.
They hacked into the future code.
Yes.
So GTA Online, they're bringing aliens.
Yes.
Aliens have always been something that's kind of on the outskirts, like the Bigfoot stuff and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so some of the hackers have hacked into the code of GTA Online, and they've seen assets that are making it clear that kind of the next thing that's coming to GTA Online is aliens, alien abductions, alien missions, and I don't know how that's going to look, but I am super excited. And
I'm excited about it because if we have, I know it's breaking immersion, but we have a bunch of people like jumping in UFOs. If you can hijack a UFO at some point, that would be freaking amazing. Because I know people are doing the whole Rick and Morty mod in the single player, which is really cool. But the first thing that I thought of, which I'm playing if you're watching the YouTube version, is the GTA 5 trip scene where Michael's son gives him LSD, more than likely LSD, and it doesn't spoil anything because it's just ridiculous. That's the first thing that I thought of. Aliens have always been there, like you said, as like an Easter egg thing. Yeah. But I just freaking love that that bit. Yeah. I think it's cool that they've triggered. I mean, we're in an era now. We're looking at code. We're looking. Oh, what could this be? Different Easter eggs. Sometimes they're purposely done by developers to just mess with you. Mm-hmm. But I like when they throw something in the code and someone is digging through and finds a future thing and go, what is this supposed to be? Right. And I think it's cool they were able to trigger it early.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something that's coming. So build your arsenal and get ready for the invasion, I guess. And then the last bit in our side quest section is Battlefront 2 is saying that they're going to have loot boxes, and they kind of showed those. Mm-hmm. And what they showed was some things that looks like pay to win, because it's talking about accelerating benefits or accelerating growth, something like that. I forget the exact wording, but it really looks like something that will be that will allow people to kind of jump ahead to get an actual edge, and that feels kind of iffy because it's loot crates, basically, and. To be fair, they're giving away all of the multiplayer DLC for free. Yeah. They need a way to make money. The Overwatch system is working well for Blizzard. It makes sense to replicate that. Yeah. But if they're setting it up to where you can get a cooler gun or a more accurate whatever, that's a problem. If
you're doing it quicker, you have to balance out how rare that is and how that works, because the way that the first Battlefront was, you basically had to grind out missions, and they didn't unlock loot boxes, but depending on how much time and your points, whatever, you can take those points and buy out specific things.
Right.
So you could spec it. So I'm going to play devil's advocate, because there you could spec the way that you want. Here you get random. So the way that Battlefront, at least the first one, worked was you have certain weapons that are really, really good if you like sniping, and they're really, really good if you like just charging in and like Han Solo. But if you stumbled upon a loot box, if you get a loot box and you get some rare sniper gun and you're not into sniping, it's really not going to matter that much, in my opinion. So there could be a way to balance this, because the previous one was all grind out and spec, and this is adding a random ability. But if they don't balance it right, it's a better win.
It's definitely possible, and like you said, it can be. It is something where if they balance it correctly, then yes, absolutely, we'll be okay. But we've seen it. No matter how much beta testing they do, in the first 24 hours that a game is released, they hit, like, I think the quote I heard from a dev one time is like, within the first 24 hours of a game's release, they've already hit 10 times the number of hours played. And there are communities, especially in a multiplayer competitive thing like Battlefront, that are going to jump in there and try to figure out how to game the system. And with something like this in particular, that is a fear. It's a danger, and so it'll be interesting to see. We're not going to come out and condemn this action. But it does make us a little bit nervous of
I think skins are cool. That's one thing that I love about Overwatch. It's like, oh, you can get all these custom skins, so you're so Winston can look like Santa Claus or whatever. So it's Winston. Who is it? Was it Torbjorn? Torbjorn, yeah.
I like that one.
But you have these custom skins. It's like, oh, that's cool. Which, it could tell you, oh, that guy's played a lot, but that doesn't mean that all of a sudden they're 15% faster or something.
Right.
And if they're specific, and Battlefront does have that different specking in regards to your main weapon and your abilities. So if you make sure that certain items are harder to get, like the jetpack, most people who play Battlefront play for a little while, get that jetpack, because it allows that additional mobility element. So if you make sure that some of those are harder to get, then make them a lot more rare, and you balance it out, it could be well done. I want to see how they actually do this, how they implement it, though.
But it will definitely be interesting, because this could go very well, and it could be something that works out really well, or it could go horribly wrong.
So let us know in the comments what you think about Battlefront's loot boxes. Do you think that's going to be abused? Do you think they're going to be able to balance it kind of like Overwatch? And tell us what you think about Hearthstone's changes, and if you think they're healthy or they need more. We'll see you guys later.